CBS News now projects that Republicans are one seat away from winning the 218 seats needed to take control of the U.S. House. And Republicans have nominated Congressman Kevin McCarthy, the current minority leader, as their candidate for Speaker of the lower chamber. Congressional correspondent Nikole Killion is at the Capitol with more. Hey, Nikole. So now that Kevin McCarthy has been nominated as the next, if they win the, let me rephrase this. He maintains his seat as leader of the party. If the Republicans take the House, then he will be the next Speaker of the House. But what are the chances of that actually happening?
Yeah, well, technically, I mean, he has been nominated to become House Speaker. To your point, if Republicans take the majority, they feel that they are well positioned to do that, even with some of these outstanding races that remain to be called. Although technically, yes, the House hasn't officially been called as of yet. But that being said, what's really important to drill down on here is that McCarthy, in terms of his bid for the potential speakership, secured about 188 votes from his members, where he will need 218 by January when the new Congress convenes. In fact, there were about 31 House Republicans who voted against him. And so that really is McCarthy's challenge and task over these next few weeks, is to try to shore up support within his conference. I asked him yesterday if he thought that he would have those votes come January, and he said that he felt confident that he would. He pointed to folks like previous speakers like Paul Ryan and even current Speaker Nancy Pelosi, saying at this stage, they both had lost votes, but ultimately became the respective leaders of their parties. And he did say that he's got his work cut out for him, that he's going to listen to everyone in his conference. And that really is kind of what he will have to do in these next several weeks, particularly because many conservatives within the party, specifically a lot of Republicans within the House Freedom Caucus, have expressed concerns. They have proposed a number of rule changes that would actually strip some of the power away from the Speaker. And so that is kind of where you see that tug of war between McCarthy and some of his members.
So let's talk about what's happening in the Senate. For the first time in a really long time, Mitch McConnell actually has a challenger. How legitimate is this challenge?
Well, it's legitimate in the sense that, Leader McConnell is facing this challenge now from Florida Republican Rick Scott, which is really the first time in years that he has faced any type of challenge for the minority leader position or for a leadership position in general. And so what is significant about this is that in the run-up to the election, we did see both McConnell and Scott, who ran the campaign strategy for Senate Republicans, really at odds. And so this is really their beef, if you will, kind of coming into full view, with Scott making this formal announcement and putting forth a letter to his fellow senator saying that he is going to challenge Leader McConnell. Now, McConnell is very confident. He says that he has the votes, and so he seems unfazed, undeterred by this challenge. But it does show some dissension within the Republican ranks. And, in McConnell's view, he believes, and he said several months ago, that he thought candidate quality was very important and could potentially hurt Republicans' chances of being able to retake the Senate. He feels that he is still on the right side of that argument, even yesterday, saying that he believes that Republicans underperformed, in particular with independents, because he felt many of their candidates engaged in what he called chaos and excessive attacks. Rick Scott, on the other hand, who again ran the campaign strategy and backed a lot of these candidates who ultimately didn't win, said he believes that the party should have put forth a plan to voters. And he did, in fact, do that, but McConnell was reticent to do that. He didn't feel that there was a need to put forth any kind of plan or agenda for voters. So again, that's where you're kind of seeing this push and pull between the two leaders. Unclear if these elections will go forth as planned this morning. Right now, it appears that's going to be the case, but there are some senators who believe that these elections should be delayed and wait until after that Georgia runoff.
All right, Nikole, thank you very much.
You bet.